Okay, it's fucking Friday again. It's fucking fucked up Fridays. How are you? Did you last all week without drinking and now you're ready to fucking explode? Or are you hungover from Thursday night because you just can't go 4 full days without getting fucked up? It's good if you got fucked up yesterday because the second day of the bender is always the best. Here's my tip for tonight. When the conversation starts running dry, that's the time to pick up the pace with the drinking. Get some shots, tequila, maybe even a gin shot. That's what you need to do. Don't get on the coke tonight. Just drink and see where the gods lead you. Thanks to everyone's stories this week. They were great. Fucked up Friday stories. Send them into either my Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, which are all at Boyle Comedy. Keep sending them in. They're great stories. Today's fucked up Friday story is probably one of the most Australian stories I've ever fucking heard. If you're a long time listener to this podcast, you would remember the episode I did about Australians traveling overseas and how fucked up we are. I think it was called Our Worst People. And that episode explains here how we are the only country that lets our worst of the worst people out. Well, this listener sounds like one of the worst of the worst. But it had me fucking laughing because it is a very Aussie fucking story. Again, this listener didn't want to be named fully. Probably because he'll be arrested with some of the fucking language he's using, but it's alright, it's good, he's Australian. He has an excuse. So the story this week, it's from Evo. And that's a fucking Australian name too. That is a fucking Australian name. And here's an Australian story for you. Here we go. I was in Barcelona, Spain, in 2011 with two mates. On our second day there, we were down the beach and there were these guys who were selling beers. So we bought a few and then they tried selling us some weed, but we weren't keen. That's a pretty flat start to the story, Evo. So you went down to the beach, you had a couple of beers and some guy offered you weed, but you weren't keen. Thanks for that. Thanks for that part of the story. Fucking idiot. We ended up getting pretty pissed. Pissed, by the way, for our international listeners, which mainly your international listeners, pissed is drunk in Australian. Hammered. Fucking pissed. It's not pissed off, it's fucking pissed. I was so fucking pissed last night. So pissed is drunk. We ended up getting pretty pissed and then one of them offered us some coke. I'm not going to say whether we had it or not, but it was like 40 euros for a gram. So you can make your mind up. We ended up getting shit-faced also for our international listeners. Shit-faced, I think it's more universal, but shit-faced is, in Australia, it's pissed. So shit-faced is pissed. We ended up getting shit-faced that night, coked off our heads, and we were flying. Later that night, around 1 a.m., me and my mate were walking down the main street in Barca, La Rambla, and this chick with massive fake tits comes up to me and grabs me on the cock and says, "You big Australian man." And I thought Spanish people are bloody friendly. She kept grabbing my cock and I'm fucking rock hard. It's hard not to get rock hard when someone's grabbing your dick. It doesn't really even matter who's grabbing your dick. I remember being in Thailand and a very obvious ladyboy just grabbed my dick and was trying to lead me into an alleyway. It got hard pretty quickly. It didn't seem to matter that it was obviously a man. So where was I? And I thought Spanish people are bloody friendly. She kept grabbing my cock and I'm fucking rock hard. I returned the favour and started grabbing her fakies. And they were unreal. Nice. After about a minute, she walks off. I said to my mate, "I'm fucking barred up here." That's a fucking funny line. I'm fucking barred up here. Lads, I'm barred up here. Got to do something about this fucking thing. I'm fucking barred up here. I then reached into my back pocket where I had about 400 euros and it was fucking gone. I fucking chased her and grabbed her and said, "You fucking slut, where's my money?" Fuck, how the tide has changed on those titties. Not so friendly now, is she? She said, "I don't know what you're talking about." Then this bloke comes from the middle of the road and says, "What's going on here?" I said, "You know what's going on, cunt. Give me my fucking money." I ended up losing the chick in the rush, and I had my mate telling me to take the little fucker down an alley and give him a flogging. But he yelled something out in Spanish, and now there were about 6 blokes surrounding us. I kept telling the cunt to get my money, or I'm going to kick the shit out of him. He gave me about 50 euros, and I said, "Where's the rest of it, fuckhead?" To be honest with you, if you do run into an Aussie overseas and he's fired up like this, you're best to avoid him. You could be getting a flying headbutt for no particular reason. He said, "Let's go to the cops." I said, "Fuck off, we're not going to the cops. Ring the fucking slut." After about 30 minutes of fucking around, he took us to the cops, who were probably in on it, and said, "There's nothing we can do unless you know who she is." So I was fucked. I found out the next day my other mate was getting a blowjob off a hooker in an alley, and she mugged him for like 150 euro. So we ended up getting cheap coke down the beach, but it really ended up costing us around 1,100 Aussie. Fucking expensive night. That was our second night of a 6-week Europe trip. That is the typical overseas Aussie story. Drinking, someone grabs your cock, and you end up getting into a fight. That's it. That's what you got to do tonight. They're the instructions tonight. Get drunk, either get your cock grabbed or grab someone's cock and get into a fight. Do it. All right, thanks for listening. Enjoy your Friday night. I'll speak to you tomorrow. So.